Hello and a warm welcome to the show. It's always great to have you with us. The Constitution of Kenya talks about equal distribution of resources. That means 50-50. However, in the matrimonial property law, things are different. We'll get to tell you about what that difference means for couples who may be separating. But before we get to that, let's have a look at what we have on our Property of the Week segment. Tucked inside Donholm Estate in Eastlands, Nairobi, is Springfield Apartments, 4-bedroom maisonette with DSQ priced at 18 million Kenya shillings. Construction for Phase 1 is to be completed by 2018 with a total of 56 houses. Currently, 24 houses are complete and 98% is sold out. Phase 2 is underway with 232 units. Both phases will have 250 units. The steel gate leading to the main house is uniformly designed for all units. On opening the gate is the Cabro paved driveway, which is big enough to fit 2 cars. Here is the underneath water tank with a capacity of 10,000 litres. A peephole allows you to safely and most importantly discreetly view who is standing outside your front door before opening it. On the side of the main door is a separate entrance to the detached servants' quarter that is self-contained. A gypsum ceiling dotted with full moon sconce lights illuminate the corridor. Ceramic tiles interlace into the spacious living area, which offers a simple and minimalistic look. The spacious living room is connected to the dining area. The windows bring in a great amount of natural light, brightening up the space. One wall is well done in wallpaper, adding beauty and style to the overall look. The dining has a peach soft touch of decorative paint color. The gypsum ceilings in both rooms give the space an elegant touch of style. The peach theme characterizes the ceilings and matches well with the walls, whose bracket lighting is similar in both rooms, and 2 full moon sconces on both sides. A steel door from here leads to the backyard that has a wash area for soaping and rinsing if doing your laundry. On the other hand, the space back here is enough to host a barbecue party with friends or family. An open plan design sets the theme for the kitchen. The soft touch MDF cabinets are numerous for all your storage needs. There is space enough for a 6-burner cooker, enough sockets for all your kitchen appliances, and granite countertops with a smooth surface for cutting. The double wash sink has a middle section with the provision for dish dispensers and soap. A door adjacent to the kitchen opens up to the pantry, which has blockboard shelving as well as enough room to store larger items if so desired. The first bedroom, which can also serve as the guest bedroom, is on the left. Bright wall tiles set the tone and can be a profound accent onto the overall space. The guest clock room is on the right. It is characterized by ceramic tiles, steel fixtures, a pedestal sink and mirror. The shower curtain rails are already in place. The wood laminated staircase has a warmth underfoot leading up to the 3 rooms, which are all en suite. A chandelier majestically hangs above and is definitely an eye-catcher. The wood laminate floors is a continued theme in all the rooms. 2 of the rooms are similar and can be used as bedrooms or as an office. The wardrobes are yet to be fitted in all rooms. Both accent walls are in lime green paint color, wall bracket lighting and full moon sconces are fitted as lighting fixtures. The wash areas are ceramic tiled and have still fixtures inclusive of soap holders and towel rails. At the furthest corner is the master room with brass wall brackets lighting and a wallpaper to accentuate the main wall. The gypsum ceiling hosts the full moon sconce and the room has enough space for a king-size bed and even display of rustic furniture. The bathroom is spacious and is fitted with a shower cubicle and a bathtub that will soon be completed. Springfield Apartments is in a gated community and has close proximity to Greenspan Mall that hosts hospitals, supermarkets and even children's play area. For safety, a security company has been hired to man the gates 24 hours. Putting your child to sleep is not an easy task, but as you put them in their crib, you can make it stylish as well as functional. Today in our Property Essential segment, we show you just how to not make your child's crib old or boring by bringing in style. Good sleeping habits are important for your baby's physical and emotional well-being. An important part of establishing good sleeping habits is the sleep environment, where your child sleeps, the kind of crib or bed, the type of mattress, and so on. Babies spend most of their first year sleeping, and this is the reason why parents spend a considerable amount of time trying to find them the perfect crib. There are several considerations for buying a crib, and almost all couples or single parents have different priorities. A baby crib is typically made of wood or metal and can be foldable too. Today, there are various different types of cribs available in the market, right from the sleigh type cribs to the round or the rocking type cribs. Cribs are available in various different shapes, sizes, designs and colors. Most of the cribs are designed in light colors with bright upholstery and baby crib bedding. It has been found that babies develop their cognitive abilities faster when surrounded by various shades of different colors. All these are manufactured locally, bringing into play the great creativity and design by Kenyans right here at home.
We manufacture locally. We are made in Kenya, proudly Kenyan. Everything is locally sourced, locally done. We have a seriously amazing team of technicians that we work with. We are like family. We've had some of them since we started, actually. And that has been fantastic for us because everything in life is about growth. So the more we stay with them, the more they learn, the more they share ideas with us.
For every child, learning and growing ought to be fun, and hence the need to provide enjoyable products that facilitate education and development of children from a tender age.
People don't design furniture for children here. You realize that we have furniture for adults, beds and tables and dining tables, but when it comes to children, people don't have focus on kids' furniture. And allow me to say, for example, when we were growing up, we used to do our homework like on our dining tables and stuff without thinking about the element of what are you going to do, how are you going to actually make it interesting for this child, you know, like encourage this child to actually love homework. So we started thinking, how do we make it comfortable for the child as well as the mother?
A baby crib usually also comes fitted with a baby crib bedding, which should be well-fitting and snug. Loose or large beddings can cause the baby to get caught in it, and so these accidents are best avoided by using a good quality baby mattress which fits well in the baby crib. Above the design and manufacture of kids' furniture and accessories, Little Cribs also offer consultancy on the design of kids' spaces, as well as which type of crib would be good for one space.
You might have a customer who wants maybe to purchase a bed, but they don't know that it'll fit, or what kind of a bed. So we can sit with you and actually get to the bottom of, think about your child first, because your child is who you're designing for, and then let's work around the other things around. So if it's sleepovers, what do? Get a trundle bed, get a pull-out bed, so that whoever comes sleeps there, and then when they're not there, push it back. Rooms, small spaces, because a lot of Nairobi houses have really small rooms, and you'll find someone saying, I want to put a bed, I want to put a study table, I still want to have a place where I can put a dresser. And those are the challenges that we love, because with someone like that, we can actually develop a piece of furniture that would work for you as well with a small room.
While the design, color and material of the crib may be an important consideration, the safety of the crib is even more important.
You'll notice that our cribs have rounded edges. We don't use nails on our cribs. You'll never attach our cribs with screws. What we use are connectors, and they have rounded heads. So there will never be any point where the child will connect with something that will hurt them. And then just for practicality as well, our cribs are flat packable. The kind of prints we do, because they're direct printing, they'll never peel off. So actually you don't have to worry about the child scarring the crib, because that's a direct print on the board.
Some of the important recommendations for babies while they sleep include: babies under 1 year of age must sleep on their backs in cribs to reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, which is when a baby younger than 1 year of age dies unexpectedly while sleeping. Many large-scale studies have shown that bed sharing can put babies at greater risk for entrapment and suffocation. If you want your baby to be near you during the night, you can put a crib in your room next to your bed. This is called co-sleeping. Many mothers find that this makes nighttime breastfeeding easier.
Kids don't sleep, babies don't sleep, and you have to wake up. That's just how it is. In the middle of the night to nurse, to feed, and it can be a bit strenuous on the mother. So when we say that our crib converts to a co-sleeper, it means that actually you can remove one panel on the side and push it. If you have enough room, push it right next to your bed, so that when your baby actually wakes up at night, you don't have to get out of your bed or your comfort zone. You just reach for your baby, you nurse them, and when they fall asleep, you put them back. When you actually get the baby used to their environment, it will be easier to actually move them away as they're getting older and as they're getting into more regular patterns of sleep.
Time now for a short commercial break. We'll be right back with so much more. In many families, couples usually purchase property to secure their future and that of their children. Now, that kind of property falls under matrimonial property. The Matrimonial Property Act 2013 stated that during a divorce or dissolution of marriage, the property should be shared equally between those who are in the couple. But that was then. In March this year, Justice Patrick Kiage stated that it would be very strange to think that property should be shared equally depending on what an individual's contribution is. That changes the ballgame altogether. That's what we're talking about today, matrimonial property and just what it means to couples who are going through a divorce or dissolution of their marriage. With us is Rachel Wanjiro. She is the managing partner at Afri Law Solutions and Rachel and Associates Advocates. It's great to have you with us, Rachel. This ruling by Justice Patrick changes everything. In 2013, the law stated something different. Now it's different. What does this mean?
This ruling by Patrick Kyage was, I think it's the best thing that could have happened, especially for women. Not to say that I'm a feminist, but I think the people who have really gotten through lots of issues in terms of matrimonial property are women who have not been given rights towards it. But the thing with this ruling is that Patrick Kyage was able to clearly say that if you have contributed to something, once you get married, then you're entitled to it if you decide to divorce or dissolve your marriage.
Now, the Constitution does say that there's 50-50, equal contribution and equal distribution. So does this mean that, we're seeing a difference from what the Constitution states, or how does one go about it?
No, it's not really a difference in what the Constitution says, because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. What the Constitution tries to guarantee for you is that you as a woman, you as a man, you are all equal before the law in terms of how you relate in your marriage. So it gives you an equal voice. But now what he went on to do with this ruling is to say, in as much as yes, we are all equal, but then when it comes to even the property, we also need to look at how it's going to be distributed between you as equal members of that union.
Let's try and delve into this term, matrimonial property. It has changed over time. What does it include and exclude in terms of its right definition?
It involves any movable or immovable property. Immovable meaning like land, movable things like your household goods, your cars, your chicken, your cows, basically everything that you own together as a couple.
Well, what have you seen so far that people are using in terms of matrimonial property that is different from what the right definition is?
Mostly, most people think that matrimonial property is the home. It's just the house. So if, like, let's say my husband and I, we have shares in a company, we're both directors, they will say that, no, this doesn't form part of matrimonial property. But if we came together and registered that company, or we started a business together, then that still forms part of matrimonial property.
What happens then when a couple have, they're together in a company, in a limited liability company especially, how then does that distribution occur?
Ordinarily, a company, how it is seen in the law, it is a separate individual. It's an artificial person who has the capacity to sue, who has the capacity to own land, to sell land. So right now, most of the court cases that have gone ahead prior to this decision, the viewing was that if a couple are directors or shareholders of a company, then the family court is not the right person to decide, because ideally they are an individual person as a company. But you can be able to distribute your shares, basically looking at what are the assets of the company, what are its liabilities, and because it still forms part of the marital pool, then the parties can be able to clearly define and say, these are the number of shares we have, this is what I have contributed to it, then I will be entitled to this number of shares, you'll be entitled to this other number of shares. If it's liabilities, we'll share. If the company owes, then we are both jointly liable for it.
Okay. Yeah. Let's bring in a situation where a couple have names, both their names in a property, in an asset, whatever it is. What then happens in such a situation?
In such a situation, usually what happens, more often than not, when you go to court, you will see that maybe they do not just have one property. What the court usually looks at is contribution. We had spoken about the issue of contribution. Yes. And what the Matrimonial Causes Act looks at, it looks at either if it was monetary contribution or it was non-monetary, which is a new innovation. It's a new thing that has been introduced, because before the law never used to consider non-monetary contribution. So let's say I'm a housewife. What have I done? I take care of the house. I take care of the kids. Let's say we have a farm. I'm the one who manages the farm. Then the man himself, he goes to work, or vice versa, yeah? And you have your stable job, you're the one who has bought the property, probably it's been registered in your name. But now what the new laws look at, they say, even if I was a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, and I was able to do this and this and this while you are doing, yes, while you are doing all these things, then I have contributed. It may not be that I actually removed money to buy this property, but so long as you can be able to prove that this is what I have done in this period of time of our union, then I have actually contributed to it and I am entitled.
Okay, and then what happens if it's a polygamous marriage? Who has right of property ownership? How does one go about that?
Now, polygamous marriages, we know they have always been there. It's only until recently when the Marriage Act was enacted, that's when now they were able to actually say that polygamous marriages are recognized. Now, when it comes to divorce or dissolution of marriages, and if a man was married to one wife initially, and they bought property and they decide to divorce, any property that they had acquired together then will be shared equally between the two parties. But like, let's say the man has married 2 wives, 3 wives, what happens? The first wife will get whatever was entitled to her, the properties that they had acquired together. And then for the other wives, depending on when they came in, yeah,
so that's come in and
you can't just come in like the 5th wife and I say, this house that you bought in Karen, it's mine, and I did not contribute in any way. The courts always look at what form of contribution did you put in. Yeah. Okay.
From a lawyer's perspective, would you advise a couple to consider getting a prenuptial agreement before, just to get into these property rights? What would be your advice?
For me, how I look at it, it's like an insurance. Why do we all take life insurance? Why do we take insurance against accidents? Is that in case I actually get involved into an accident, then I will be covered. Yeah, and that is how I look at prenups. And I would really encourage people, if you think that, not that you're scared about your spouse or what may happen, because I believe when you get in together into a marriage, it's for life. Yeah, so when you're getting in, it's always good to, because things happen. You're better off clearly saying that this is what I have come with, this is what you have come with, these are our obligations in this marriage. If we decide to get out, I go out with this, you go out with this. If we have acquired property together, then you get this, I get that.
You had mentioned something about company. What happens then if it's in form of shares, that a couple came in and took up shares in a specific company? What happens then in regards to that?
For company, you also need to recognize that companies are governed by the memorandum and the articles of the company. That is the governing factor of any company. So you first need to go back and see, what does the memorandum say? What does the article say? Because that is what even will give the court guidance in terms of, this is what we had agreed as shareholders or as directors of this company. So it clearly spells out. Then if there are any disagreements concerning it, then that's when the court will come in and intervene.
Which court is this per se? Is it the family court, the high court?
No,
which is
the high court? The high court, the commercial department. You first go to family court and clearly outline that these are our assets, our liabilities, this is what we want to dissolve. Then anything that is related to the company, the high court has jurisdiction, inherent jurisdiction to hear any matter that is before it. So even if you go to the family court, which still forms part of the high court, then they can probably say that this matter will not be heard in this court and will go to the commercial division for it to be clearly outlined.
Are there cases where we've seen agreements changing? Have you seen that happen?
Yes, agreements can change, and usually, because we said any agreement, it's a discussion between the parties, yeah? So they always have to include a clause where they'll say, if we want to amend this, then we can be able to do it. But even if you look at prenuptial agreements, what the Act provides for is if there's anything that a disagreement on it, then you can actually go to court where they will amend. Especially if it's seen that that agreement was entered into by force, by coercion, or by fraud. Maybe you lied. I said that I have a house in Kitusuru, and in reality I don't have it. Yeah. So you can actually go to court and say, because they lied, then this agreement needs to be nullified.
Moving forward, what are your thoughts on matrimonial property, ownership and sharing? What are your thoughts on that?
For me, I just think that people need to be really sensitized. I don't think many people know their rights in relation to what is rightfully theirs. Yeah, and there needs to be a lot of sensitization. And like in Kenya, with the IT age, all these acts are very accessible to anyone, and they are pretty straightforward. So any person can easily go to Kenya law, download the act, just have a look at it and see this is what the Constitution actually says. For us, we voted in for Constitution because we actually read it and we went for the referendum. Yeah. So in the same way, people need to take an active role in terms of understanding what their rights are. Yes.
Great. We've been able to rightly understand what matrimonial property means, just what it entails for those who are going through a divorce or dissolution of marriage. And if you're in that space, make sure you get a lawyer. Get the right information as you go through this. Even for those who are not in marriage, information is power. With that discussion, you now have all the information you need regarding matrimonial property law. That's all the time we had. Thank you so much for your company. Remember, next week we do it right here, same time, same place.